Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Chirrut Imwe. And Chirrut Imwe is really a fascinating character in Rogue One. He was actually my favorite character by far in Rogue One, just because of not only the things he did in the film, but what he is going to mean to Star Wars going forward. So today, specifically in relationship to Chirrut Imwe, I'm going to talk about Baze Malbus. All right, so Baze Malbus is it's already established that Chirrut Imwe is a disciple of Kyber, right? And he is found in the Holy City. So Baze Malbus is also it is explained to us to also be one of these disciples, but he has fallen away from his faith. He's abandoned his faith, right? So Baze Malbus is the character that uses, essentially he uses a fully automatic machine laser, right? So the weapon he uses carries a really large ammunition pack on his back. It has this long, Baze Malbus, it has this long string of ammunition, like a chain that guides the ammunition or the energy into this laser rifle, right? It's a fully automatic laser rifle, right? And a very, very powerful weapon. And Baze is he's the tank, as a video game person would say. Really big guy with kind of a weapon that's should be more difficult to bring to bear, and then really puts down some devastating force, right? So now what's interesting about Baze Malbus is, really, in my opinion, Baze Malbus is not really his own character. He is an extension of Chirrut Imwe, and I think it's really an echo of Han and Chewie. Right, I really think, maybe in the later films, but especially in episodes 4, 5, and 6, it's really hard to see how Chewbacca is really a freestanding character. He's an extension of Han Solo. He's really like a tool or a weapon or an extension of Han Solo's power, right? Because really, Han can be in two places at once. Han could see can really see behind his back, because Chewie's always there protecting his back, right? Chewie made the Millennium Falcon go faster and be reliable, and he could be the gunner when Han was the pilot, and he could be the pilot when Han wanted to be the gunner. Excuse me. So all these things come together. Baze is exactly the same. He's an extension of Chirrut Imwe, right? Now, the reason why he's an extension of Chirrut Imwe, why he isn't his own person, is because he has given up, right? He has really abandoned his faith. But what he has not abandoned is Baze Malbus has never abandoned his friendship with Chirrut Imwe, right? And so he really serves Chirrut Imwe, in my opinion, right? And he's always there. And Chirrut understands this. Chirrut understands that Baze Malbus has really lost his way, and the only thing that is anchoring Baze is Chirrut, right? So Chirrut, he has an incredibly defined sense of purpose. And his purpose is to be one with the Force, and for the Force to be with him, right? And also, I really feel like he is seeking to do the will of the Force, right? Or determine or allow the Force to determine his own will, right? So, this is really new territory where we're really starting to get into the Force as a religion within the Star Wars canon. Very, very interesting. I think it's dangerous territory, honestly, and so I think the writers and the creators really need to tread very lightly and be careful as they move forward. right? Now, I have trust that they can do that. Yeah. So, so one of the things I think is really interesting is when you think about Chirrut Imwe, his power is incredible, right? So we see all of his blind monk powers. You know, he can literally dodge missiles. He can take out multiple stormtroopers with a bow staff. He's awesome at martial arts, right? But the reality is, Chirrut Imwe comes with a fully automatic laser rifle. He's not using it. Baze Malbus is using it, but that is part of Chirrut Imwe's power. And so his really, really fascinating aspect of Chirrut Imwe is that not only is he this incredibly deadly warrior, but he also is inspirational, and he's a leader. He's a leader of one. And you get the idea that, that Chirrut Imwe is leading one man because there aren't 100 there to follow him. The holy city has dispersed people, right? And I think Chirrut Imwe is in a time of transition, right? Now, sadly, by the way, spoilers all over this, if you didn't get that already. So, of course, Chirrut Imwe dies in the end of Rogue One, right? And then Baze Malbus comes over, and he witnesses Chirrut Imwe's death, and then in addition to witnessing Chirrut Imwe's death, he becomes very angry and goes and moves on and takes out as many death troopers and sand troopers and storm troopers as he possibly can using his weapon, right? And so Baze is there with Chirrut when he dies, and then he goes on to his own death, just like the entire Rogue One squadron. Everyone dies, right? So this is really Chirrut Imwe's death is pretty incredible. So I want to talk about Chirrut Imwe's death for a moment. So right before he dies, there is a master switch that needs to be thrown so that the Death Star plans can be transmitted off of Scarif, right? So at that point, basically, Chirrut actually, a portion of Rogue One are all trying to get to this master switch to throw it. And there's this one brave soldier who says, "I'll take care of it." And he jumps up and he's immediately shot, right? Chirrut then just stands up and walks to the switch. And as he's walking there, he's saying, "I am one with the Force. The Force is with me. I am one with the Force. The Force is with me." And it's really up in the air, right? Did the other Rogue One people lay down enough cover fire so that no one could get a really concentrated shot on Chirrut Imwe? And so his power was really Rogue One just defending him well? Or did the Force actually protect him, right? And I don't think it's really clear. And I actually think this is one of the reasons why Chirrut Imwe is one of my favorite characters, is I am an evangelical Christian, and I see miracles, I'd say once a month, things that I think are truly miraculous, where God is taking a moment to speak to one of his people, or shows a kindness, that is that is grace, or shows a kindness that is mercy, right? And if I told anyone about these things that is outside of our community, they wouldn't believe. Just the way Baze really didn't believe Chirrut most of the time, just the way Cassian Andor didn't believe Chirrut Imwe most of the time. And Chirrut Imwe, to everyone who wasn't a disciple of the Kyber, seemed like a fool, right? And but here was a moment, and I think one of the things is when Chirrut Imwe finds the switch and throws the switch, he has this huge smile on his face, and he's like, that's it. Like everybody else can say, hey, the Rogue One guys, shot a lot of lasers, and it suppressed the fire of the stormtroopers, and the stormtroopers really couldn't get a bead on me, and so you could think that the Force didn't help him. But I think when he died, Chirrut Imwe knew that what he had just done, walking like 100 feet through laser fire, was a miracle, and no one could tell him different, right? And that, you know, it was really strange to see on screen, because I think, you know, if you're an evangelical Christian, you see this all the time. Like you know, we know that the world is, that God is active in this world, and you know, to us it's so clear, right? But to anybody else who's not within that community, who's not an evangelical Christian, they really can't see it, and it's you know. And so when he had that smile on his face, you know, of course, Chirrut Imwe is a fictional character, and you know, and there's nothing behind his fictional faith, right? But that's okay. It's a story, right? But in that story, I really saw our community, our evangelical Christian community, and you know, and that was really inspiring for me to see. And also, I'm 100% aware that was not the intent of the Star Wars writers, and that's okay too. And the reason why is that's what art is about. Art is creating something that's creative and has a lot of imagination, and then, you know, there's a transaction that happens. There's almost like a synchronicity that happens between a viewer and a creator, right? And so the viewer can bring something to it as well. And so, you know, so I really see a reflection of what it's like to be an evangelical Christian in Chirrut Imwe, even though he's not an evangelical Christian. I'm fully aware of that. But you know, but I know that smile. That's my point. And when, you know, Chirrut just beamed with that smile, it was just so powerful, such a powerful part of the film, and it really blew me away. And Chirrut, you know, just I'm so excited for what he means for Star Wars. Chirrut Imwe is, you know, he is really, I feel he is the first. You know, we've already seen Force users. He's the first Force dedicated, and really unique. Chirrut is really like no other character in the Star Wars films. And you know, so I'm going to end this video with my favorite line from Chirrut Imwe, and I'm in 100% agreement with Chirrut. The strongest stars have hearts of Kyber. Take care, everybody.